Welcome back to LonelyMan BGs and this series on how to play Root. In this video, we will be going over how to play the Vagabond. The Vagabond is a lonely wanderer who plays all sides of the conflict and works on quests in his off time. The Vagabond also works on his relationships with other factions, gaining victory points by ticking off his enemies or coaxing his neighbors into alliances. A few starters. The Vagabond is a lone wanderer of the woods, so he can never rule a clearing or prevent others from ruling one. Fortunately, the Vagabond is very nimble, so he can move regardless of who rules the clearing. The Vagabond is different from the other factions, as he uses items in his satchel to perform actions. The Vagabond can gather these items by exploring the woodland's ruins and providing aid to other factions. Each item in the satchel is placed either face up or face down. When an item is exhausted, it is placed face down. Items may also be damaged. Whilst items are damaged or exhausted, they may not be used to perform actions. When undamaged, some items are stored on the left side of the faction board. These items are generally not exhausted, but may become damaged throughout the game. The Vagabond isn't a one-man caravan though, and can only carry so many items at once, so he will have to discard down to item capacity during the evening. Birdsong phase. First, the Vagabond may flip up to 2 items for each T on the track at the start of the Birdsong phase, then an additional 3. In this case, 5 are refreshed. After that, the Vagabond may use Slip once, which allows him to move into an adjacent clearing or forest without exhausting a boot. Slip is the only way the Vagabond may enter a forest. Daylight phase. The Vagabond may perform various actions by exhausting items, flipping them face down. Move. The Vagabond may exhaust a boot to move. Repair. The Vagabond may exhaust a hammer to repair a damaged item, placing it face up. Battle. The Vagabond may exhaust a sword to initiate a battle. Strike. The Vagabond may exhaust a crossbow to remove a warrior in his clearing. If no warriors exist in that clearing, the Vagabond may remove a building or a token instead. Explore. The Vagabond may exhaust a torch to take 1 item from ruins in his clearing. This scores the Vagabond 1 point. The ruins is then removed. Aid. The Vagabond may exhaust any 1 item in this action. He then gives a card from his hand that matches the clearing he is in to any player in the same clearing. Then the Vagabond takes 1 item, if any, from that faction's item box. Questing. The Vagabond may complete a quest that matches his current clearing by exhausting the 2 items listed on the quest. The Vagabond then scores 1 victory point for each quest of this same suit that has already been completed, including this quest. Alternatively, the Vagabond may draw 2 cards instead. Next, the quest is placed in the play area and a new quest is drawn. Craft. The Vagabond may exhaust a number of hammers equal to the number of suits shown on the card's crafting cost. Special action. The Vagabond may exhaust a torch to perform the action listed on his chosen character card. For example, this action allows the Vagabond to clear a single clearing of any enemies. Evening phase. If the Vagabond is in the forest, he repairs all damaged items. Next, he draws 1 card, plus 1 more per coin stack on his track. After that, the Vagabond discards down to 5. Finally, if the Vagabond has more items in his satchel than his item limit, he must remove items from the faction board until that limit is met. The item limit is 6 items plus 2 items for each bag. If for any reason the T, coin stack, or bag items are exhausted or damaged through aid actions or battle, they are moved to the satchel. Once the item is repaired or replenished, it goes back to its corresponding track on the board. The Vagabond also has a relationship track. This track represents how friendly or hostile other factions are towards the Vagabond. He can improve relationships by giving cards to another player with the aid action. The Vagabond must aid that particular player the number of times shown between the boxes on the same turn. When a relationship is improved, victory points shown are earned. Once the allied space is reached, the Vagabond may move and battle with that faction's warriors. If the Vagabond was to ever perhaps, murder another faction's warrior, that faction's relationship marker is placed on the hostile box. From that point on, the Vagabond scores a victory point for every warrior removed in battle with that faction. However, when moving, the Vagabond must exhaust an additional boot if there are hostile warriors in the destination clearing. Of battles and Vagabonds. Because the Vagabond has no warriors and only a single character meeple, he follows different rules during battle. First, the Vagabond is not a warrior, thus is not affected by effects that refer to warriors. Second, the maximum hits the Vagabond can deal by rolling equals his total undamaged swords, whether or not they are exhausted. Third, the Vagabond takes hits by damaging items of his choice. He can even choose to damage items on tracks. If the Vagabond has no undamaged items, he ignores further hits. Fourth, the Vagabond is defenseless and takes an extra hit if he has no undamaged swords. The Vagabond interplays with dominance cards in a way different from all other factions as well. The Vagabond cannot rule clearings, but if he has at least 10 victory points, he may play a dominance card to form a coalition with the player with the lowest score. If there is a tie for lowest, the Vagabond chooses who to form a coalition with. Upon formation of the coalition, the Vagabond removes his score marker from the victory point track and places it on the faction board of that player. Now the Vagabond shares victory if that player wins. If forming a coalition with a hostile faction, the Vagabond moves his partner's relationship marker to the indifferent space on the relationship track. And this concludes our video on how to play the Vagabond, as well as our how to play series on the root-based game. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. In addition, if you want to help forward this channel onto higher aspirations, you can learn how to support the making of these videos in the description below. Thanks for watching.